If you were a Clare supporter, would you be annoyed that at this stage there's still no clarification over whether Donald Maloney is staying on after Jerry O'Connor walked away?
You'd just be wondering what's going on. Like Jerry O'Connor walked away probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think it'd been the guts of 2 months after Clare were knocked out of the championship. So I know like people need time to think about things, and there's family and work and things to bring into the equation. But like surely he had a fair idea whether he was going to be staying on or not. Now nobody knows. Like a lot of people are assuming that Donald Maloney is going to be manager by himself next year. That's a completely different demographic to him being joint managers, like me and you being joint managers, and now you're going in by yourself. Like there's so many questions to be asked. Have the players, like without putting too fine a point of it, had the players had enough of the previous management and the personalities? Do they want one of them being the manager and being in sole control now and having even more power? But you'd really wonder why they haven't got their business done at this stage. The club championships, you're gone to the county final now. You'd imagine Donald Maloney is going to be the manager because someone else coming in, they'll have to operate off last year's panel. They won't have been looking at the club action. So it's just very strange.
Yeah, well, like first of all, just to go back to your point about have they been listening to the same voice or voices in this case for too long, a lot of these players would have had those them at minor level, then under 21 level, now a few years at senior level. So you're talking about the guts of 7, 8, 9 years. What can Donald Maloney tell those players next year that he hasn't told them before? Can he take them in a new direction? Who's he going to bring in? Like, I mean, what has he learned on the way, or what fresh insight has he got on this team that he can bring next? Maybe he can. Yeah, I just don't know.
I'd always look at it, you know, if you had the same coach the whole way up through your hurling career, like 10, 12, 14, 16 minor, and you get them to 21 and senior. So you're being coached a certain way, and if you have a really good coach, that's brilliant. But like, you need other insights, you need other people, you need other maybe just ways of coaching, styles of play, dealing with different personalities. You need kind of different approaches to it. So in my head I'm thinking they probably need a change, but I don't know whether that's going to come at this stage. It's dragged on that long that you're kind of just expecting that Donald Maloney is going to be manager, but then maybe there's something going on in the background and they're trying to get somebody else or something, I don't know. Of course, Anthony Daly's name would spring to mind because he's free. He probably didn't, I'm sure he didn't expect to be free this soon. Like Kilmacud went out very, very limply to cool in the Dublin Championship. It does make him free now. Maybe there's been conversations had in the past couple of weeks, I don't know. But it's funny, like if Kilmacud were still going well, it wouldn't be a conversation that he would be having. But because of a bad result, he kind of comes into the conversation. But it probably shouldn't be forgotten then as well why he's in the conversation and how badly they went out of the championship.
The flip side is if you had to keep going and Kilmacud had to go on and win a county title and then go far in Leinster, and the Clare situation still hadn't been sorted, then there'd be possibly a continuing clamour for him, like there was with Matty Kenny in the past.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I haven't heard Anthony Daly's name mentioned really in the past couple of weeks, so I don't know if it's a signed, sealed and delivered job. And without being smart, nobody seems to know. Nobody seems to know. It's not the Kieran Kingston thing where you know he's going to be manager. Nobody seems to know what's going on in Clare.
But you make a great point there about if you had a same manager the whole way up, and then you know you get used to their style, like. You know, and this is club career, of course, but like you could have the same guy for a couple of years and he develops his favourites. And training is the exact same, the same warm-up routine, the same hurling drills, the same whole lot. Someone else comes in and it changes as good as the rest. Number one, you feel like, right, the old favourites, fair enough, they're established players or whatever, but you might get a chance now because a new guy's in, he'll see something different. The training drills are different. There's a different style of hurling. Maybe this lad's into stick passing, whereas the other guy and he's just targeting, we'll just try and get these certain lads on the ball, and someone else might have more of an all-encompassing type thing. Do you think there's anything to do with Davy Fitzgerald taking so long over his decision? Of course, his father Pat runs the show in Clare GAA, but that he took so long to decide, and all this talk was that maybe he'd join Galway. But you think in the back of his mind, maybe in Clare the decision hasn't been made because they're waiting for someone like him to sort of walk through the door and say I'm available?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's not that long since he left Clare. It's obviously the boys coming in, they've been the only management team since he left Clare. And without being smart as well, like Davy was kind of pushed out the door too, you have to remember, with the same group of players that are still there. While Clare is obviously unbelievably close to his heart and unbelievably handy in terms of travel and stuff like that, I think, I don't think he was going to leave Wexford to go back to Clare. Not at this moment in time. He'll definitely be Clare manager again. It's just a matter of time. I think it'll be a few more years, probably when a good few of these lads have moved on, I'd say.
They need to sort it out though. They need to get that manager sorted, because the more this drags on, the more uncertainty. Clare, there's only 2 teams left in the Clare Championship now. What's happening in terms of organising next year, getting players who need rehab done, who need surgeries, who's looking after that? Generally, it's the manager who's the person who answers for it all.
Well, I wonder, like,
things drift.
yeah, and I wonder would Peter Duggan have definitely left to go to Australia
He's no one to ask,
if there was a manager in place. He said he had a conversation with Donald, kind of was last year's management or 2019 management. I wonder, like, if they'd had a management team in place and all that. At least there's someone who can coax him. Who can coax him now? Donald Maloney, who might be manager. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he's gone in November. He's probably going to be gone out of the country by the time they have a manager in place at the moment. So it just, you're kind of letting lads fall through the crack. There'll be lads guaranteed. There'll be lads coming back behind their rehab and things like that, because they've no one to, who's looking after them, who's the focal point, who are they going to get things sorted. So I definitely think they're going to be chasing their tail now at this stage next year.
Let us know who you think should be Clare manager and where you think they'll be in the pecking order for next year.